Greetings, folks. Welcome to another Catchup with Mayo, 4 o'clock in the afternoon, Saturday, March 21st, 2026. And I'm here today, as I usually am every week, and I'm thinking of maybe not coming on every week. I don't know how people feel about that. I'm thinking about it. I don't know, thinking of maybe making it once every 2 weeks, maybe even once a month. But for now, probably be once a week still. I don't know. I just think sometimes it's a little too much. I know some people would disagree. Some people look forward to these little chats and these little catch-ups. But there's only so much new to talk about, right, in a week sometimes, right? So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm not saying anything definitive. Okay, to start out with, we got James Farley. Hello, James and Gary. My quarter pounder was the best I've ever had today. No more until July. Yeah, it's tough. It's tough, but most of that I'll talk about on my other channel, Mayo Loves Mondays, and you can check out that, over there for those who don't belong. Hello, Mike. Good afternoon. Hello, Michael. Hello, and hello to Ramoga. Good afternoon, and we're ready to go here. It's funny. It's March 21st, and spring is here. Thank God. And when I went out today, pretty nice out there. I mean, it's not perfect yet. Not perfect. I needed to warm up a little bit more, but you could feel it's in the air. That old saying when they say spring is in the air. You definitely could feel spring in the air. No two ways about it. And I'm happy about that. So let's see what we can talk about today. If anybody has any topics, observations, questions, could be about anything, almost within reason, as I say. Okay, I finally watched The Lost Weekend. Yeah, with Ray Milland. Oh, no, you mean not the Lost Weekend movie with Ray Milland, the one with May Pang. I do believe John did love May, but Yoko was his soulmate. Well, absolutely. It's definitely what I think. Definitely Yoko was, that's the one he went back to, hello, Penny Lane. Penny Lane is in my ears, in my eyes. And, yeah, so, today, I say this sometimes from time to time. I didn't want to really do this today. I'll be honest with you. Some of you may have noticed that I did not put an ad up. I like to put an ad up maybe 24 hours before or 12 hours before I'm going to be on. This time, I only put an ad up like 3 hours before because up till very late, I wasn't going to do it. I don't know. Sometimes you're just not feeling it. Okay. Hi, George. Happy springtime. You better believe it. What are your thoughts on The Mummy's Hand, which is on Svengoolie tonight? Okay. My thoughts are it's one of my personal favorite horror movies of all time. Now, having said that, it's not a great movie. If you like old monster movies, the old black and white monster movies, and you like the characters of Dracula, Frankenstein monster, the Wolfman, and the Mummy, you should have fun with this movie, The Mummy's Hand. The reason that I love this movie so much is I have very vivid memories as a small child of watching it on TV and being very affected by it. This is the movie responsible for making me the horror movie fan. You see one here, a poster over here. The horror movie fan that I am today and for the last 60 years. That movie and also another movie called House of Frankenstein. Those are two movies from the 1940s, the old monster classics that single-handedly got me into this genre. So I'm a big fan. Gary noticed that I was late with the ad. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, Nigel. 9 a.m. Saturday morning. Good morning to you in New Zealand, and thank you so much for joining us here today. It's always great to hear when people are joining from other countries. This reaches far. You know, not just mine, but anybody. Am I interested in getting the Flowers in the Dirt reissue? No, I'm not. I'm not getting any of the reissues, whatever this batch of reissues is. I'm That's not just limited to Paul McCartney. I'm also not getting the new John Lennon CDs that are coming out. That is to say, I'm not buying them anyway. But I never know when it comes to the Lennon material. I never know what I may be, let's say, gifted. Sometimes I am, but no, I'm good. I'm not getting the McCartney stuff. Let's put it that way. It's funny, flea market soon. It's funny. My girlfriend was just telling us the flea market will be starting soon, and I know that people here enjoy flea market videos when I do them, and I got to try to do them more than I have been. I don't know how many flea market videos I put up last season, but I know it was not a lot. Maybe 3, maybe. But, a lot of that is because there's not really a hell of a lot going on there anymore. As I say, I don't know. It seems like the best people that were putting stuff for sale aren't going there anymore. But it's still fun anyway. It's a morning out. I usually go in the mornings. So it's a morning out. You get some air, and you get to make some content as well. So, sure. Give everybody a cheers. I take a sip of water here. So what's going on, everybody? When it's left to me to come up with things to talk about, I don't think I have a lot. So I'm just going to hang loose here for a little bit. Don't mean to leave dead air here, but there's not much to say. There's not much to say. Hi, Joe. Okay, recently I did the Fab Gab episode with Ken Michaels and Beatley Tone, and some of you have seen that. It was Wings at the Speed of Sound, the album from '76. And we talked about the songs on the album, and we ranked our favorite tracks, least favorite to our most favorite backwards. And please check that out under Fab Gab. A lot of people like those ranking shows and have asked for more. And I'm going to try to do it. I have at least 2 more albums in mind, solo albums that I'm going to do, one by Ringo and one by George. So I'm going to be doing those fairly quick. I mean, when I say fairly quick, I mean within the months to come, this year. So there you go. Let's see. Are you going to the showing of the 1-to-1 concert film? Yes, the tickets have finally gone on sale, and I haven't gotten them yet. I'm trusting that it's not going to be sold out. I'm trusting I'm going to be able to get in there, but I really should move on that a little bit. Yeah, of course. I really want to see that in the theater. There are 2 screenings. One of them, I believe, is April 29th in the theaters, and the other one is May 3rd. So I'm going to buy 4 of the Lennon SHM CDs because I don't have any Lennon CDs. Well, that's perfect opportunity. Absolutely. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to get the Japanese CD of Walls and Bridges. I'm not going to wait for the deluxe version. Who knows when that's coming? I know when that's coming. I think according to the Lennons anyway, they're looking to do it next year, 2027. And the quality, the sound quality will be improved even more. There'll be the new remixes that they do, the ultimate mixes, and you should get a lot of extra features on it too. Okay. Okay, let's see. Do you ever go to the beach in the summer? If so, where? Good question, but no way. No way, Jose. Are you kidding me? The way I look at my age? Not a chance. Those days are gone. When I was a child, I loved going to the beach. I went as a child all the time, and I was a wild man in the waves. I mean, I went deep. I went too deep. I used to have to be called back by the lifeguard. Come back. I was going way too out. And I used to dive and crash through the waves and all that stuff. So I had a great time. I loved the beach when I was younger, but no, that's not happening anymore. I'm not going to say never. Not going to say never, but not anytime soon. Let's put it that way. Let's see. I enjoyed the Fab Gab show you did, talking about the Wings Speed of Sound LP. Thank you, Penny Lane. Exactly. It was fun. And it's always a lot of fun to talk with other guests. Have you talked to your friend Richie since his wife passed away? I haven't. Well, I've texted him, and he, really tough. He lost his friend Julio, my friend Julio too, but mostly his friend. I mean, they were really close for a long time. You might remember videos with Richie and Julio, and Julio died at age 65. And anyway, then his wife passed away a short time after that, Richie's wife. So that's tough. But I talked to him about maybe doing something together as far as my movie channel, because on my movie channel, which is Mr. Cinemayo with a C, check it out. Richie and I did some horror movie shows, and we'll try to do some more. Mayo's Mop Tops. Exactly. Hi, Robbie. Good afternoon to you. I just ordered the Blue Note release of Frank Sinatra in the wee small hours. One of his best. Blue Note pressings are the highest quality. I didn't know that Blue Note did Frank Sinatra. That's odd. That George Harrison Live in Japan seems like a great buy. I'm actually not familiar with it. I know that Live in Japan is coming out again. That I know. But I didn't really know the details about it. I just know I'm good. I have the original one on that from 1992. And then they put it out again a few years ago. So this is like the third time. Have you met people like Beatly Tone in person? Well, Ken Michaels, I've met in person many times. Beatly Tone, sorry to say, never got the pleasure of meeting Tony. He's in England, that's for one thing, and I have never been. But I thought that maybe I was going to have the privilege of meeting Beatly Tone in Chicago at the Fest for Beatles fans last year, but I wasn't able to make it. He went there, but I wasn't able to make it. So I'm still hoping. That's on my bucket list. My bucket list is to hang out with Beatly Tone in person. So hopefully one day, somehow, some way. And hello, George. Music for all 4 seasons. Good to see you here as always. I always feel I'm complete when I see George. There's certain people, many of you actually, the regulars, the Mayo regulars. You know what I mean? I used to have in the wee small hours LP cover displayed on my wall. The cover used to be displayed on your wall. It's a great cover. In the wee small hours, that's a good Sinatra cover. Frank Sinatra album covers, a lot of them are really nice, and that's one of them. That's one of the best, if not the best, right? So I'll agree with you there. It was worth framing. So, I don't know what's happening with the Beatle Fest for Beatles fans. I always call it Beatle Fest. So much easier. And that's how I always remember it. But Beatle Fest, they decided to go on a hiatus indefinitely. Maybe they're not going to do anymore. Maybe they will. I really hope they can come back bigger and better than ever in 2027. I keep saying that I think 2027 is a good year because it's the anniversary. It'll be the what is it? 60th? I'm going to try to get this right. 60th anniversary of Sgt. Pepper. 60th anniversary of All You Need Is Love and the Summer of Love and all that Magical Mystery Tour and all that Flower Power stuff. So it's a good year to start and rejuvenate the fest, I think. Okay, let's see. Hello, Harold. And hello, Raymond, watching from the hospital. Watching from the hospital. Hope things are good. Hospital is not a nice word, but that's nice. You got to picture that. It's nice that People are watching it everywhere. That's one of the things pretty amazing about this, being able to live stream. So I hope you're doing well. I've never been to Hawaii and I've never been to Alaska. It's very boring. The only places I've ever been to are, Maine, the state of Maine. I've been to New Jersey. I've been to Florida. I've been to Arizona. I've been to Mexico when I crossed over the border from Arizona, do a little shopping. I don't know if I missed anything. New Jersey. Did I say New Jersey? I mean, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I mean, not much of a traveler. Not out of the country anyway. But Hawaii and Alaska, never been there either. Hello, John. Long live the Beatles. Make love, not war. Hope things are good. Nice. Yeah, well, things could always be better. They can always be worse. Right now, things are good. Let us not take for granted the good things. Because count our blessings, as they say, because there are some. There are many. But yeah, things could always be worse, I guess. Okay, it would be nice if Apple released Magical Mystery Tour in an SDE format or something to that effect. You never know, though, with Apple, do you? You never do. I would like to see something special. I'm going to see if I could get this. Hold on a minute here. I have something down here for Magical Mystery Tour. It's a little dusty. Okay, let me do this. It just happens to be here, so I'll show it to you. I mean, I have this, which is, I guess this is the closest we come to, really, for a Magical Mystery Tour box set. Maybe I should make one of those clickbait videos. Magical Mystery Tour box set is here. I might do that. See how many clicks I get. Hey, it's the name of the game, isn't it? And, this thing has a release date of, it looks like 2012. 2012 this came out. It says, let's see, is Blu-ray, DVD, Blu-ray and DVD on this? Let's see if I could take this out of here. Maybe not. Oh, sorry, live. God, it opens up like that. Screwed it up. And, I never pay this much mind, this thing. But I never pay this much mind. But this is a book. All right. I don't know if I want to go through this. No, I'm not going to go through it. I'll tell you what. I have an idea for a video. Yeah. I'll save it for the video. Also got the 45s in here, it looks like, and other stuff. I'll have to look into this because I guess this is the closest thing we have to a Magical Mystery Tour box set right now. But anyway, a lot of fans, myself included, I'm just going to take the camera off because I got to rub my eye. It's itching. A lot of people, fans, they say, and I agree, it would be nice if you could actually have like a combination Magical Mystery Tour and Yellow Submarine set. That would be nice. Okay. I was rubbing I get these itchy eyes. Dry eye, I don't know. All right, let's go back. I never knew they made a box set. Is it a bootleg? No, it's not a bootleg. Official release from 2012. Yeah, I was going to say, you got it. That's exactly what I was thinking of. That's exactly who I was thinking of. And again, I always got to mention this. Matthew Street and I were friends, no problem. We talk on the side and stuff, but eat your heart out, Matthew Street. I'm going to start doing me some of that clickbait stuff. The new Beatles 2 album coming, the new this and that, I mean, what are you supposed to, that's the name of the game. Isn't it funny when you start looking through what you already have? It's like Christmas morning. Yeah. All right, let's go up here. How many times have you watched Let It Be since the Get Back documentary was released? I think once. I think when Let It Be came on, was shown on Disney. Let It Be, right? Wasn't it? Wasn't it Disney? I don't even remember the new version of Let It Be. The remastered version. Are there any vinyl albums you purged that you regret selling? Driving Rain and Off the Ground, are two that I wish I still had. At the moment, I can't think of any. Right? I mean, what do I think? There is something. There might be something, but again, it's failing my mind at the moment. But it's happened before. Okay, Black Chub Bear, right. Okay, what's going on? Can't wait for the new McCartney documentary of the missing bass. I said to myself, if that would have been a better plot to give my regards to Broad Street. They stole Paul's bass instead of the tapes. Yeah, I don't know. I don't think it would have made a difference, honestly, but I don't know. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. That's an interesting topic. One of my commenters left me a comment saying they thought that was like a desperate idea for like a story. Like, why make, is it that important? And I was saying it's not like it's the Ark of the Covenant or something really like rare like that. Who cares about the missing bass? And I thought, no, I think it's a good idea for a movie. What the hell? A documentary, I should say, a documentary thing. So why not? Perhaps the Fest is planning something really special for the 60th of Sergeant Pepper, and they need more time to plan, etc. And using 2026 off to do so. That's a possibility. We don't know at this time. We don't know whether they're using 2026 to regroup, rethink, recreate, improve, or whether they're just not coming back. I mean, I don't know. Good idea, pairing a Magical Mystery Tour with Yellow Submarine. At one point, I thought that a Beatles box set where all the movies would be fun. Yeah. Hi, Jim Royal. Recently listened to 33 and a Third by George. I enjoyed it. What solo Beatles album have you not listened to yet? Oh, that's a good question. Let me see now. I mean, I've listened to every solo Beatle album, except I haven't listened to McCartney's the first Fireman album. What is it called? Oceans, Ships, Forests, or something like that. I haven't listened to that with the red cover, and I haven't listened to Rush's. I mean, I never listened to George's Electronic Sound all the way through, that kind of thing. If the albums that are more odd or experimental like that, but pretty much, and I've listened to just about everything, but I haven't listened to Paul's Ocean's Kingdom, or Liverpool Oratorio. Those are whole fillers for me. Like I like to collect and own everything that they did as solo artists, but anyway, speaking of 33 and a Third by George, that's going to be one of the albums I'm going to talk about. So it's the 50th anniversary this year of 33 and a Third. So I'm going to do a ranking show where we're going to rank the songs on there. So, have you been to Roosevelt Hospital in New York City because of the John Lennon connection? No. I've never been there in my life. I went to the hospital in Dallas where Kennedy was declared dead. No. I'm sorry. Never did that. Do you think there is still much interest in the original Let It Be movie? Enough of an interest, sure. I mean, that should be released. They should be putting that out. Will they ever do it? Who knows? But I think it should be. But some people will be interested, some people not. Has Give My Regards to Broad Street been released on Blu-ray? No, it has not. And I actually would like to see it come out on Blu-ray. I wouldn't mind there being a Paul McCartney archive set one day, a box set, deluxe set with Broad Street with a new copy. Because, whether you love the movie or dislike the movie or just tolerate the movie, the bottom line is it still deserves a Blu-ray, I think. Okay, I enjoy your DF short. Do you agree that it seems very rare to see a year added to any Beatle autograph. In this case, it is heartbreaking that John wanted to prove he was signing the LP in 1980. He did that a lot, John. You know, he put the year there. From some of the autographs I saw, he did that. But especially in 1980, for some reason, there were a lot of them. I don't know why he did that in 1980. It makes you wonder sometimes, you know, strange things in the world out there, you know, in the cosmos. It's like, did he have some kind of an inkling that he better date these? 1980 would be a significant year. I don't know. Bob Dylan plays his first concert of 2026 tonight in Omaha, Nebraska. It's amazing to see him still getting out there, almost at 85. Yeah, wow. Yeah. He's going to be 85 in May, I think. Wow. 85, Dylan. But Dylan, you could kind of understand that. Dylan was a lot like Woody Guthrie, right? And that old kind of, when he started out and everything, that old kind of folk sound. So I could kind of see him, or Pete Seeger. You could kind of see Dylan old, you know. But I don't know how I feel about it. I've seen some clips of him. Some of them are okay. He's sitting down playing keyboards. You know, it's okay. I thought the plot to Give My Regards to Broad Street was very weak. There were some good moments, but overall a poor film. Now its only value is a historic piece in the life of Paul. I like the music. I mean, I watch it for the music performances mainly, you know, and in particular the warehouse scene. The warehouse scene I love, and the medley with Ringo I love. Those are my favorite two parts of Give My Regards to Broad Street. Is Crippled Inside about Paul? I've heard rumors. Well, don't believe rumors, because there's never been any indication that Crippled Inside is about Paul. John's never said it was. I would bet $1 million that it was not. So I need $1 million. So that's an easy bet. I don't know. A lot of times it seems fans like thinking that the Beatles were always thinking about each other, and they always wrote songs about each other. But what do you think the new format of the festival will be like? Well, first of all, we don't know that there's going to be any more fest for Beatles fans. They haven't said there's going to be for sure, but there may be, right? And if there is, I don't know. I don't know. I just hope they have to do something. They have to reduce the prices. I'm sorry, they do. I understand it must be a lot to undertake. You know, but without raising prices, but it was too expensive. You know, we talk about $300 to go to the fest for like 3 days or something, and then you're talking about if you have to travel and stay overnight at a hotel for the 3 days, you know, and food, it adds up. But anyway, a lot of people say they got to get better guests, but let's face it, when it comes to Beatle-related guests, a lot of them sadly are no longer with us. I mean, there are other people they could ask, and I always defend them in the regard, like, even though I don't know for sure, I have to guess that over the past 60 years or whatever, no, 50 years, excuse me, it's been 50 years. I'm getting ahead of myself, 50 plus years, whatever. They had to have thought of every guest to ask. And if there are Beatle-related guests that have never been there, solo Beatle guests that have never been there, my guess would be that they probably couldn't make it or refused, and they couldn't come to an agreement. Not that they haven't thought of them. I'm sure they thought of everybody. I bet. Do you think any solo Beatles ever topped anything they did as a band? I think Lennon came close. I take it at individual songs, you know. I don't think any solo Beatle album tops any Beatles group album. But I do think certain individual songs in the solo Beatles catalog, in some cases, are superior to some certain Beatles songs. You know, and we could nitpick those all day and cherry pick those all day. But hello, 4D man. I'd buy the Let It Be Blu-ray. Apple gave a verbal assurance to Michael Lindsay Hogg to release a restored Let It Be later in return for his endorsement of Jackson's Get Back. Can't trust Apple. Well, you know, he did do another one. I mean, there was another Let It Be, right? It's just that it was only available to watch on one of these cable services. It might have been Disney Plus, I think. But there's been no physical release of it. So it was revisited and improved. And I think, if I'm not mistaken, that Peter Jackson even worked on it a little bit. Okay, I had a Bowie sign my Scary Monsters CD booklet. He put the year on it. Yeah, sometimes people put the year on it. Will you rank another girl? Thank you, girl. You're going to lose that girl. And hello, little girl. Oh, great. Let me think about this for a minute now. Okay, I'll do that for fun. We got some time here. Now, this is how I feel today. Okay. When I was a kid and I was first discovering Help, I thought You're Gonna Lose That Girl was so great. I still love the song, but I don't love it as much as I used to. Right now, out of these songs, you want to know something? This is the order. The way you listed them is the order I prefer them right now. Another Girl, I think I like the best right now. Oh, hold on a minute. I forgot about Girl. I'm going to put Another Girl, Thank You, Girl. You're Going to Lose That Girl. Girl. And Hello, Little Girl. How's that? So it's not the exact order. I've never been a big fanatic over the song Girl, believe it or not, from Rubber Soul. So I'm going to go Another Girl, Thank You, Girl. You're Going to Lose That Girl. Girl. And Hello, Little Girl. That was fun. I can do that when I have some time, when there's a little bit of time within the stream, but sometimes it's tight. You can't do it. Mr. Martinez, yes, right. James, right. Hope all's well. Any plans on going to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? McCartney or Wings exhibit. Isn't it amazing how many things these days I go, nah, no, I don't think so. Yeah. Maybe John saw the new decade of the 80s to be brand new start. That's a good point, because he did feel that way. So he wanted to put the date with his autographs to put a positive spin on it all. New album, new decade, new start. I think that is a very good theory, Michael. I think that's a good one, because I think there was cases where he wrote the year on other years, on the autographs for other years. But I know in 1980 he seemed to do that quite a bit. I heard there's several hours of footage from the White Album sessions. Hope we see something somewhere down the road. I've heard that too lately. I've heard, and some few little things have been leaking out here and there too. But I heard that somewhere too, that we got some White Album footage, and that there might even be, that's completely rumor, there's going to even be maybe a documentary on that, the White Album sessions or something. Interesting. What's your opinion of how Capitol has handled Paul's catalog since he signed with them? I think they should be fired. I don't have a problem with it right now, unless what exactly are we talking about? What examples, if you can? I don't have any real gripes at the moment. Drinking that water. I do the song. How much do you think the Ed Sullivan shows converted into record sales? If the boys toured the U.S. in February '64 without TV appearances, how much different would it have been? I think they were doing good before they did Ed Sullivan, because I Want to Hold Your Hand was number one, but right. But I think it helped a lot. I don't know what they would have done if they hadn't done Ed Sullivan. I don't know what the sales would have been, but I think it helped a lot. Okay, I would love to see footage from the White Album sessions. I know Beatley Tone would welcome that for sure. Good, me too. Me too. I just heard the train going by. I wonder if anybody else heard the train. I always feel it's so loud that it sometimes comes on the mic, but some people say they never hear it. So there you go. Okay, what song is this? First one to get it. I do that from time to time. So if you've been here before seeing me do that, you know the answer. Do you think any of the songs Paul worked with the Stones on the Hackney Diamonds session will show up on Paul's new album? Haven't heard anything about that, but I heard he's got a lot of material. I heard he's got something like 25 songs, something like that. And I know he supposedly that he worked on other stuff with the Stones other than just that one song that was on Hackney Diamonds called "Bite My Head Off," which has a good bass from Paul on that. What is the best Beatles song with a woman's name in the title? Well, I know everybody expects me to say Michelle, and in some ways Michelle probably is, but I have to think about that. Or Eleanor Rigby, maybe Eleanor Rigby. No, those are the first ones, Michelle and Eleanor Rigby, that come to mind. I know that Penny Lane is not named after a woman named Penny. When I was a child, I thought Penny Lane was the name of a girl. I know it's not, but if we could cheat and use that, I'll say Penny Lane. Also, Ballad of John and Yoko. Hello, Mad Team. You get ready for the Mets? Are you gonna watch the Mets? So, the more Beatles video that comes out, the better. Was it Hey Bulldog? And what was that about again? There was something. See what I mean? There was something recently where I was just saying that there's a song or something I was thinking of or something. Hello, Dr. Rick. It's not the theme from Courageous Cat and the Minute Mouse, although it does sound like it. One more time. Come on. The release seems to be chaotic. There's little logical thought about what to release and when. An example is the Archive series releases that suddenly appear with no rhyme or reason. Here you go. Absolutely. I like Penny Lane way more than Eleanor Rigby. Tons more than Eleanor Rigby. Eleanor Rigby is more depressing. Penny Lane is more fun and poppy, but I did go through a period when I first discovered Eleanor Rigby as a boy. I thought that was I couldn't get it out of my mind. It was a really great song. It is a great song. It's just that it's funny, like Eleanor Rigby is one of those songs that I don't have to really listen to much. I feel like Eleanor Rigby I've heard so much, where and I kind of like, okay. But when I hear Penny Lane, I never get tired of Penny Lane. Never get tired of it. Okay, that's it. It's Fly, Robin, Fly is the answer. Wow, how did you get that? Fly, Robin, Fly was the answer. That was the song I was doing. It's not Reception, and it's not, but it's good. That was a good guess, though. It's not Sanford and Son. I have a built-in love of the Beatles due to my older brother, who is 70 years old and has been listening to them from the start. He brought the music home, and I was able to listen at age 3. Fantastic. I recognized it. Oh, you recognized Fly, Robin, Fly. I'm glad because I did. I'm not very musically inclined, and that's not very good what I was doing. But I give you the award. Let's give. I got to tell you, Gary, you deserve a special dance and shout out for that. This is for Gary. There you are. That's for you. Let's see. Yes, getting ready for the season. No, the song you were tapping to, and now that I hear it again, it's not. Oh, it's not Hey Bulldog. No, it's Fly Robin Fly. People thought it was a Beatle, a solo Beatles song, but it wasn't. Okay, what's for dinner tonight? Okay, we have leftover chicken. My choice: leftover chicken, or my girlfriend made some kind of a pork. The other night, she made some kind of a pork roast, and we have leftover of that. That's what's for dinner tonight. Is I Want You, She's So Heavy too long? I think it's the second longest song in the catalog after Revolution 9. My whole thing about a song being too long is if it feels like it's too long, it's like, oh, come on already. I have no problem with I Want You, She's So Heavy's length. You know, it is long, yes. And when you're listening to the end of it, you're waiting and waiting for it to end with that sudden shock, abrupt ending. Bum, da, 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 like that. First time I ever heard I Want You, She's So Heavy, by the way, I was listening to the album on headphones, earphones, loud as a teenager. And I didn't know how that song was going to end. And I almost jumped out of my skin laying there on the bed listening to it. I was like, what happened? But anyway, no, it doesn't strike me as long. I feel the same way about movies, you know. A movie is not long unless it feels long, and the same thing with the song. You know, like I've watched movies that are old movies. Some of them could be 60 minutes long and feel like it's 7 hours because it's so dull. And then I've seen movies that are 4 hours and 4.5 hours. And to me, the time flies. Like Ben-Hur, for example, which I love. All right. Did you watch any of the Christie's Jim? I can't even say the name. Irsay collection auction. There was lots of Beatles memorabilia. I've seen seen some clips about it. Yeah. Hello, Anthony. Doing good. How are you? Okay, Marcus. What is your opinion of the 2009 Beatle album remasters on CD? I bought all of them and sold my original CDs. Excuse me. I like them better than the 1987 CDs. You know, the first CDs that came out. I like them better. Yeah. I still hope that we're going to get the early ones released and that the mixes will be better. I'm hoping. Okay. Let's see. Is your birthday in early, mid, or late April? You never know. You never know. It's in April. I'll be 64 next month. 64 next month. I have an idea for a video. Let's see if I do it. Did you get the remastered version of George Harrison live in Japan, or did you skip it? No, I skipped it. I'm skipping it. I'm going to listen to people. I'm going to find out if there's anything different about it. If there's anything different or superior, improved about it, I'll think of upgrading it. Let me know, anybody who gets it. Come to think of it, the car from Broad Street reminds me of the Tesla car. I hate that Tesla car. That's a good topic. Man, that stupid-looking, boxy tank, outer space, jittery, freaking alien-looking car. I don't know what the hell they're thinking with that thing. I don't. And everyone looks the same. You know, I mean, you can't tell them apart. Like, what would you do if you were in a parking lot shopping and, 100 people parking there all had the same car? How would you find your car? I don't know, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. When certain fads, I don't get. When something's a fad and that's the new thing, everybody's got to have one. I don't get it. Yes, I thought Penny Lane was a girl. When released, I was 7. I was 5. So now I know how old you are. But anyway, maybe McCartney intended this second meaning for all those Southerners who didn't know Penny Lane, so the song has a longer reach. Well, that's good. You know, that's it's very good. It's a very good idea. Yeah, of course, I do love the song Julia for the woman's name in the title. Sure. Love that. First heard Abbey Road on CD, so when She's So Heavy ends, it goes straight into HCTS. S, Here Comes the Sun. I was like, thinking, what does that mean? What does that mean here? I'm like, got it. Yeah. Sometimes when songs are played at concerts, they go on and on too long. When when you're used to the single, sometimes more isn't any better. Yeah. Okay. The 1987 Sgt. Pepper CD is a standout. Pepper was good. The early ones I did not like. I did not like Please Please Me, did not like With the Beatles. I'm talking about the 1987 CD quality. Didn't like Please Please Me, With the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night, or Beatles for Sale back in the day too much. Help was unusual. It was a little different. Rubber Soul, all right. I don't know. Tesla equals a dumpster. It looks like a dumpster on wheels. It does, really. I did my own remixes. It's a hobby of the early albums from 2009, putting the vocals in the center. Well, that's what we're looking for, you know. And I own some CDs, by the way, that are made with the vocal centered. Yeah. Not the ugly Tesla, the original car. Oops. Okay. Sorry about that. What do I know? By the way, let's hit your key, FOB, whatever that is. What I want to know also, how about hitting the likes? I can't see what the likes are here. How are the likes right now? The likes are not usually good. If you do like this, please like it. Hit the thumbs up because that helps. It really helps me. You know, I appreciate that. If you don't like me, you can leave a thumbs down. I couldn't give a rat's ass. Doesn't do nothing. All it does is help engage. You know, the algorithm actually likes any kind of engagement, positive or negative, helps me. Let me guess. Your birthday's probably around April 15th, tax day. Oh my God, mid-April. You never know. Heading to Lithuania next month to see a concert. Alrighty, Matthew Smith. Well, the Live in Japan is supposed to be remastered from the analog stereo tape, so it should sound better due to that. Nah, you know, I don't even play the damn thing. The George Harrison Live in Japan is one I never play. That's probably my least played concert of any Beatles-related solo, especially concerts. My birthday's also in April. It's a great month. The phone I'm using right now, I bought in Lithuania. I don't know if you've been asked this before, but who do you think was the best instrumentalist in the Beatles? You mean as far as playing the best instrument? Paul, without a doubt. Paul, without a doubt. Paul and then Ringo. That's what I think. Well, Ringo because of the drums, his proficiency at the drums, you know. I was 15 when Penny Lane was released. They only played the promo single with the trumpet ending. I was surprised when I got the Magical Mystery Tour album with the cymbal ending. Yeah, I don't like the trumpet ending. I don't know if it's just because I'm overly familiar with the cymbal ending, but you know, the likes are terrible so far. We'll start liking them, man. You people, man, what's wrong with you? Go up, you know. Okay. Now you're speaking my language. It's already in the 90s in Texas. That's a little high. I got to give it. Won't be any relief till Halloween or so. Yes, come on, summer. Let's go, summer. Oh, come on. What 70s singer-songwriters do you recommend? I don't have any answer for that. You know? I don't know. Jim Croce. How's that for one? Can I count Paul Simon, even though he's in the 60s, really? Paul was the most versatile and musically talented. Yeah, that's why he did that. And there's to the summer. Come on, fall. Yes. Get out of here. You had enough cold weather, man. Come on. Give me that 90-degree weather. We go through this every year, Matthew Smith and I, a.k.a. Chip. We go through this every year. He loves the fall. winter, I guess, and he hates the summer. I love the summer. So we go through this every year. Sure. 80% of your hypothetical drivers will walk along and look at each license until they find their car. 20% will remember where they parked. Yeah, it's happening to me more and more. As I get older, I got to always make a mental note. Remember where I parked. Otherwise, I'm screwed. Spring is the best season. Well, I don't think where I'm living in the east here, I don't think we get a spring anymore. It used to go from winter right to summer. I don't know. April 15th is coming. Are you done yet with the taxes? I haven't even started yet. Usually I get my taxes done in February. I usually very early with my taxes. This year I haven't done them yet. Best instrumentalist in Led Zeppelin? Well, that's a harder question. That's a harder question because I think they're all excellent. I think that John Bonham is a fantastic drummer, one of my favorites. I think John Paul Jones plays a pretty damn good bass, and Jimmy Page, obviously, with the guitar. It's got to be Jimmy Page, but Bonham is right there. That's a hard one. If I was going to pick one, I might pick John Bonham. That's a good one. John, would you pick Bonham over Page? That's interesting. Hello, Tim. Just wanted to say I thoroughly enjoyed your live stream ranking of Wings at the Speed of Sound, and that is the name of the album. It says it right there on the cover. Boom. Wings at the Speed of Sound. Big headline. Boom. Wings at the Speed of Sound. It doesn't say wings and then at the speed of sound. It doesn't say that. Anyway, I'm glad you liked it, Tim. Please watch more. Subscribe. Check my playlists. Please, people don't do that enough. If you go onto my main page and you look under where it says playlists, look down at the different topics, look under Fab Gab, and you'll see a lot of albums ranked. If you like that ranking, there's a lot more. I have different guests every time. I've had Beatley Toad on the show many times. I know I had Ken Michaels on the show. If you want to look it up, if you want to look at the playlists for Fab Gab, you'll have to go down quite a ways because it's an older show. But I had Ken Michaels as a guest when we ranked the songs on Let It Be. So Ken joined us for the Let It Be show. So check that out. And I'm going to do more of these. I've done a lot already, but it's been a long time in between. Glad you enjoyed it. Does your favorite Beatles album remain constant or change over the years? It changes all the time, My favorite Beatle albums in a nutshell are With the Beatles. Talk about this is UK releases. With the Beatles, A Hard Day's Night. Wow. And the Beatles White Album, probably. And Revolver. Like those are my favorite albums. But they change all the time, Hey, Psychos Platters, what is going on? Paul, come on. It's been too long. I haven't seen you here much. I understand life gets in the way and everything, but I appreciate you saying hi. Then again, I haven't said hi over there either, so how big is your CD collection? I haven't counted it. Beats me. I can't venture a guess. I just would be making up a number. I always say 1,000 because that sounds good, but I may not have 1,000. Okay, I bet Robert Plant is the worst. Well, as far as instrumentalist in Zeppelin, yeah. Page could be sloppy live. I find that new versions of Beatles songs change how much I like the song. Like the Anthology 4 version of In My Life, I prefer. Or the box set version of whatever that is. Jeez, man. I don't know, man. I'm getting slow. Like I'm trying to get off the sugar. That's really what it is. Too much sugar and starch and flour does this to you. To me. Yeah. Okay. You just had Ken on with Beatly Tone on FabGab. Yeah, well, that's what we're talking about. I just had Ken on. Yes, Elvin. I had Ken on just now with the Wings at the Speed of Sound ranking show. But I'm saying that I also had Ken on once before with Let It Be ranking on FabGab. Yes, indeed. The title is obviously Wings at the Speed of Sound. The speed of sound is an imaginary club, and it means moving fast. Sure. The Ballad of John and Yoko. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. Yes, indeed. Yeah, the Ballad of John. I got to say, I don't agree with you that the version of In My Life is you said you preferred it. I don't prefer the Anthology 4 version of In My Life, but I do almost prefer the Ballad of John and Yoko version that came out. What was that? Did they put that on the Abbey Road set? I'm trying to remember. Boy. Do you think that George is not as good as John and Paul as a songwriter? Well, here's my take on that. And this is controversial to some people. When George started out, no, he was not as good of a songwriter as John and Paul. But by the time he started getting into like 1968, 67, he got better and better. And I think there was a time where he equaled John and Paul. And a lot of people don't like me saying that. I still say Here Comes the Sun and Something are probably technically the best two songs on Abbey Road. Okay, that's his baby. Okay, but as he went up, he got better and better and better. And then you have All Things Must Pass and all that. I even did a video once where I said that I felt that I never gave this too much thought, but I was thinking about George's lyrics. And I realized he might be the best lyricist. Of course, we always say John Lennon was the best lyricist, right? But as great as John was, George actually had some really thought-provoking lyrics, let's put it that way. And lastly about this, I want to say the first song that George ever wrote, Don't Bother Me, is an underrated gem. Do you hear me? It's one of the best songs, Don't Bother Me, on all of With the Beatles. And it's right up, that one song, his first song, is right up there with Not a Second Time, or I don't know, It Won't Be Long, or something like that. Maybe, not maybe, I would say definitely Don't Bother Me is not in the same league as All My Loving from With the Beatles, but it's a great debut. It has a really interesting, moody arrangement to it. I love Don't Bother Me. Ballad of John and Yoko was on Sirius while I was driving today. Amazing that it was just John and Paul. Yeah, it was. And I always like that, Paul and John came together at that point, as a team, the two of them, duo, duet kind of, because the Yoko stuff was going on and the breakup and all that. Will you rank George's White Album songs, including Not Guilty? You mean now, here? I can tell you that Piggies is at the bottom. That much I could tell you. I think Piggies is the least favorite. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, I think, is the best. Savoy Truffle is the second best for me. Long, Long, Long is the third best. Piggies is the bottom. Did I miss any George songs off that album? As far as Not Guilty, no, I'm not going to rank it. The reason I'm not going to rank it is because although I love Not Guilty, actually, it wasn't really finished, so I'm not going to really rank that one. So there you go. I never knew anyone thought it was anything else but Wings at the Speed of Sound. Yeah, ask Andy Nichols. Hey, Andy, how are you? If you're listening. And I think Tom Hagnetti, the guys from Two Legs, think the title is now At the Speed of Sound. Well, but I don't agree. We have a friendly little debate about that. Don't Bother Me might be my favorite song with the Beatles. Good for you. Good for you. It's one of them. It's hard for me to say. Close. For CDs, those CD versions in 2008 drove me nuts with the vocals on one side, music on the other. I mean the 2009 ones, but that's okay. I know what I'm only saying 2009 so that the people watching if you follow along, because they'll be thinking of two different things. The Beatles' complete Capitol album sounded so much better. Yeah. But I mean, yeah, okay, I won't get into it. Hello, Tom Green. Hello, hello. I think If I Needed Someone was a perfect Beatles song, one of George's very best. I agree. Well, I like all of George's songs. I loved I Need You. I think I Need You from Help was a great song. I also enjoy You Like Me Too Much. A lot of people come down. That's the most underrated Beatles song. I do videos from time to time. What's the most underrated Beatles song? Unfairly underrated, and that's got to be number one. A lot of people forget it. I always say When I Get Home is another one, but anyway, but even though I like You Like Me Too Much and I feel it's underrated, I don't think it's great. It's not great. And then, of course, you have If I Needed Someone and all George's other songs. By the time he gets into 66, he's cooking. What's your take on YouTubers saying that the price of the Fonda Theater Paul shows are too expensive before prices have been announced? Yeah, I know about this controversy that's going on presently about this. I know Michael Nolan made a video. I saw that video where he was saying, how outrageous it is that the prices are so high. And then later on, Two Legs made a video kind of countering that, a rebuttal to that. And then I think since then, Michael Nolan, if I'm not mistaken, went back and he changed his wording on it, like in the description box. He explained himself in the description box. He kind of backtracked a little or explained his position better. That's what I understand as of this moment. That could change. But anyway, what do I think about it? I don't know what the prices are. I think a lot of times when people talk about the prices of Paul McCartney tickets being so outrageous, I think they're getting misinformation, or maybe they're talking about third-party sellers or everything else. There's something called dynamic pricing that Paul allows. Some artists, I think Taylor Swift is one. Don't quote me on this. I think Taylor Swift is one. Will not stand for dynamic pricing. I think some people have the ability, some stars, to say, I don't want this kind of pricing. I choose not to have this for my show. But Paul seems to let it happen. He doesn't do it personally. Tell me if I'm wrong on this, but this is what I think. As my understanding is, he doesn't really set those prices, but yet he opts into that system. Anyway, and that's all I could say really about it. I think it was exaggerated. I think maybe Michael Nolan jumped the gun a little bit on that, and I happen to be with him though. As I've said, when he did talk about Paul's voice again. A lot of people don't like me saying this. A lot of people don't want to hear it. He said that Paul's. I forgot what. I don't want to misquote him. Michael Nolan said something about Paul's voice. Did he say disrepair? I don't remember what the term was, so please, I'm paraphrasing. But obviously his voice is not that great anymore, Paul. And any fans that won't acknowledge that, I don't understand why not. I think I've seen Paul in concert in his older years, as he's old. And the last time I saw him was on his 80th birthday. I saw him in New Jersey, MetLife Stadium, when he turned 80 on June 18th, 2022. And I enjoyed myself immensely. But I could tell his voice wasn't that great, but I still enjoyed it because when you're in there and all the fans are into it and the vibe is so strong and the band is singing with him and kind of helping him to reach things and, drowning him a little bit, adding to him a little bit, kind of compensating for him. I think that in a case like that, it's a wonderful time and you don't care. Nobody cares. Nobody goes there with the show and says, oh man, this sucks. They're enjoying themselves because it's Paul. But to say that his voice isn't poor now, I disagree with that. But one last thing, I'm trying to cover every base here. It depends on the day. I've heard Paul in recent years singing and saying to myself, I'm even just last year, I heard some videos of him, and I said, well, I'm surprised he did pretty good there for 83 years old. He sounded decent. Then there's other times I'm like, wow, on this particular night or this show, his voice is warbly and cracking, and it's sad. So it depends what show you get, what song you get, how he is. So I'm like this on it, but I'm trying to be fair. But to sit here and say his voice sounds fine, and that's what some people have said, some people that don't want to face it, they say he sounds fine. I don't think he sounds fine, though. I have heard some shows where he's closer to fine than others. Makes sense? He's less bad than others. Sometimes he's okay. That's all I could. That's as honest as I could get it. By the way, I always love the song "Think for Yourself." I forgot about that one as well, so let me mention that. Okay, George's ex-wife Patty's birthday just passed. 82 years old. She looked pretty good for being that age. I saw her 2 or 3 years ago. She looked good. Okay, there's your ranking. Okay, there you go. Appreciate that. Do you think Jimmy McCulloch was a better guitarist than George? Well, it depends how you mean it. See, I come down on George a lot. I'm not a guitarist. I'm not an instrumentalist. I can't play a musical instrument. I play a little bass here and there. That's about all I play a little bass. And in case you think I'm kidding, I'll prove it to you right there. There's my little bass right there. There you go. Play a little bass. But no, seriously. Yeah, I think that Jimmy McCulloch was a better guitarist than George. Short answer. However, George, although I'm down on him at times, I love his sound, and I love the Beatles songs with George's guitar playing on them, and I like his tasty sound. George, the only thing I think is that George seemed to need more time to work it out. When he was given time to work it out, he could arrange a really beautiful guitar sound, like on something or something like that. But just on the fly, to just like shred on the fly, like he's not going to go in concert. He's not going to do that, that kind of thing. Best I could say about it. I thought the Beatles version of Not Guilty was far superior than George's version on his self-titled album. I like Not Guilty, the Beatles version, a lot. It rocks. It's a rocking version. But again, it's not really officially finished. It's not finished. But I do like the one very much. I love Not Guilty from George Harrison's album. It's much slower. It's a slower ballady arrangement, but there you go. Did you celebrate John and Yoko's anniversary? No, I forgot it even happened. To tell you the truth. There you go. If I understand that comment, there you go. I hope Paul's new album is only one LP. Me too. Unless it's the White Album or Goodbye Yellow Brick Road, only one disc is needed. Yeah, I don't know. It's very hard to imagine a 2-record set, a 2-album set of Paul at this stage in his life being killer. But you don't know. You don't know. We'll see. I don't have a favorite album by The Clash. Well, I think I know Combat Rock and London Calling. I don't know. Paul wrecked his voice with all those years of Little Richard vocals. That's what I think. Paul Simon's voice lasted better because he kept his singing mellow. Well, I don't blame Paul. He screamed and shredded his voice, vocal cords. Paul, and that doesn't mean if anybody who was offended by what I just said about Paul's voice is still here, that doesn't mean that I don't still enjoy Paul, how he is now, and that I don't accept him. The main thing again is acceptance. Do you accept it? A lot of people won't accept it. They won't accept anything other than old Paul. I mean, young Paul, I should call it. Old Paul meaning past, old in the past. Young Paul. I rewatched a 1990 Disney show that I have recorded called Paul McCartney Going Home. Okay, it's about the 1990, 89, 90, 89, 90 tour. At the time, I thought he was so old. You know, in 1989, Paul was 47. I thought he was so old, right? It's a totally different guy. You know, I watched that and I forgot how younger Paul was. I mean, he's singing the song "Birthday" by the Beatles, and during the guitar, the break part, the break in the middle of it, he's got the bass. Robbie McIntosh and Hamish Stewart on the guitar. They're like running around. Paul's running around. They're confronting each other. They're like pointing their guitars like rifles at each other. They're having a. I'm like, this is a different guy, and his voice too. Now, to deny that, I don't understand how people could deny that. Now, I don't think some of the Paul apologists are denying that they simply say, you know, well, he's 83 now. He's not 47. He's 83 now. He's not 22 anymore. 23. I get it. So the question then is, like I was saying, we're leading up to this. Do you go for the ride with him? I do. Okay. Even though at times I cringe, he tries to reach a note these days, and I'm like this. Still, I take the ride with him, and I accept him because I'm there from the beginning, sort of. You know, I had the 45 of "We Can Work It Out" when I was a child. I mean, I was like 4 years old, and I had the "We Can Work It Out" single, and I heard Paul, and I watched Paul in the Beatle cartoons, and then later on, you know, we had the "Hey Jude" single with Paul. And then as time went on, I followed Paul when he was singing Jet and Band on the Run and Uncle Albert before that. And I collected everything with him. I was there for McCartney 2. I was there for Back to the Egg, Tug of War. You get the picture all the way up to now. And you say to yourself, I'm older. I'm going to be 64 next month. Paul's going to be 84, 20 years apart. I take that journey with him. I accept Paul. This is old man Paul, or senior Paul, older Paul, and I accept the way he sings on McCartney 3. You see? Hopefully I'll accept the way he sounds on the new album when it comes out this year, because I am accepting of the journey with him. I'm taking the journey. Some people say, no thanks, I'm done. I don't want to know nothing. It doesn't sound the same. But all I'm trying to say is, I just think it's ridiculous for people to say he sounds fine, because he doesn't. So I'm not trying to contradict myself in any way there. Pretty much done with Paul, the Stones, the Who, age range concerts. Those guys are just too old to be much good anymore and not worth the money. Glad I saw the younger versions of all of them. Well, the Stones, I mean, from what I saw, the Stones still look pretty good. And I only saw the Stones one time in 1989 live. But from what I've seen of Mick, he could do it. And I think that Hackney Diamonds album is one of the best things they ever did. So when I saw Paul live in 2017, his voice was relatively good. I've seen videos where he wasn't as good. Well, that's the thing, you know. You know, sometimes you'll see him and he's like, he did all right with that. He handled that okay. Then other times, like, oh, it was a disaster. That's just how it is. That's how it is. Fact. So far, the only singer that still sounded perfect at their older age was Tony Bennett. Yeah, he was good still. What about Tom Jones? Tom Jones was pretty good. Spring Hill Jim, what's up? Joe, do you like Peter and Gordon? I'm currently listening to their version of I Go to Pieces over and over again. I haven't heard a lot of Peter and Gordon, but I like them. Overall, I like them a lot. I like their sound. I do love World Without Love. I think that's a fantastic recording and song. If Paul's new album is a double, he could call it McCartney 4 and McCartney 5. No. That's your opinion, sir, not my opinion, because as far as I'm concerned, I like McCartney to have 3 McCartney albums. McCartney 1, say, right at the Beatle breakup, start of his solo career. McCartney 2, sort of in the middle, if you will, or whatever. And then McCartney 3 near the end. That's it. The trilogy. The McCartney trilogy, McCartney 1, 2, and 3. You don't need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I hope not. My personal opinion. On the back of Sometime in New York City, there's a little message saying that John and Yoko finished the album on their 3rd anniversary. Very good. With Paul, I go back to his 2005 tour when he sang Helter Skelter. He shredded his voice night after night. And, during those periods where he was doing Helter Skelter in recent years, he still could handle that. He sounded pretty good. Which do you prefer, the anthology of the 90s or Get Back? Which do you prefer, the anthology of the 90s? Well, it's totally a different thing. It's a totally different thing. If I could only watch one, if you're telling me, do I like the anthology series or better than Get Back, or which one? I prefer anthology. There's more. There's just a lot more. That's all. The Maca sycophants think being remotely critical or simply telling the truth is somehow disrespectful. It means you're not a true fan. Well, that's this could be laminated. This laminated and put up in gold bronze. I mean, that's the problem. I'm a huge McCartney fan. That's why I hate when I say the McCartney fanatics out there, the McCartney diehard camp out there, they can't be critical. I don't like calling them that because I consider myself a McCartney diehard, McCartney fanatic, and all the rest of it. So what do I? I'm one too, but I'm willing to criticize it. Mick Jagger still sounds excellent. Do you like gatefolds? I generally dislike them with a few exceptions. I'd rather have a nice illustrated inner sleeve. Depends on the gatefold, generally speaking, I'm okay with a gatefold as long as it's a nice gatefold. If it's a waste of space and a waste of cardboard, it wasn't even worth having. But overall, sure. I saw the Rolling Stones live in 2003 and 2014, and they could still get it done. The McCartney trilogy should be left as it is. 3 is perfect. Well, that's how I feel. Some people have a different opinion, but people have to be realistic. Even rock stars get old and aren't the same, But see, that's what these people will tell you. The apologists will tell you. The famous line they always do is, well, Paul's 83. What do you expect? He sounds like he's 83. He's not 21 anymore. He's not 35 anymore. Of course he sounds different. He's 83. He sounds like an 83-year-old. They kind of get around it that way without actually saying, yeah, but sometimes it's cringe. Sometimes it's not cringe. I want to be clear on that. Sometimes it's not cringe at all. And sometimes I am impressed. I'm sometimes impressed. That's the best I could say. I've seen clips of him on YouTube, and sometimes I think, boy, that was rough. Oh God. And sometimes I hear them and I think to myself, wow, he did that good this time. That's why you can't blame the phones. A lot of people, I've heard people blame the phones. You can't judge by a cell phone recording. So in other words, if he sounds good on it, if I see a cell phone video at a concert and I think he's sounding good recently, that's okay. But if I hear another cell phone and he doesn't sound good on that one, then we got to blame the cell phone microphone. Oh, come on, man. If Paul's voice sounds warbly, if it's warbling, then it sounds warbling regardless of whether it's being recorded on phone or not. Warbly is warbly, Maybe you don't hear the warbly as much at the live gig because the band's drowning it out more, maybe. And when you finally hear it without the live atmosphere drowning it out, maybe then it becomes more pronounced. I don't know. Well, the best thing I'll say about this is I did a video on Man on the Run, so check it out. I thought it was good. I didn't think it was great, but it was good. Yeah. All right, I'm going to start winding this down a little bit, people. So let's do this soon, okay? Let's see. Hi, Yvonne. How are you? I can't stand Bruce Springsteen, so the answer is no. Do you have the original green clear copy of Happy Christmas War is Over? Yes, I do. You got yours before for Christmas in '71, still in your collection. Very nice. Nothing like having the memory of I have the original copy that came out when it came out. Blue Jay Way and Old Brown Shoe, great ones from George. I'm not wild about Blue Jay Way. I don't hate it, but I'm not wild about it. But I've come to really enjoy Old Brown Shoe. A lot of really good things going on in there, especially instrumentally. A lot of good instrumental stuff going on in there. What if these Los Angeles concerts are the last concert that Mac ever does? If they're the last concerts that Mac ever does, and they're the last concerts that Mac ever does, I mean, what are you going to do? You know, what are you going to do? Wasn't that impressed with It's Been Too Long. Do you think the new Ringo album are leftover songs from the Look Up sessions or newer recordings? From what I understand at this particular time, they're all newer recordings. I don't think any of these are leftovers from Look Up. I think they're new recordings. And I was not impressed with the new single either. You know, and I really loved Look Up. Look Up, I still think Look Up was one of Ringo's best albums in his entire solo catalog. I may place it number 2 right after the Ringo self-titled album, or number 3 after Ringo and Time Takes Time. Those are his 3 best albums by far, in my opinion. I've never seen Springsteen in concert, but unless you count the fact that I mentioned earlier when I went to see Paul at New Jersey's MetLife Stadium on his 80th birthday, Springsteen joined him on stage and they sang Glory Days. And I have to tell you, I do like that song, Glory Days. I actually did a Springsteen video one time where I ranked at least 10 of his songs, maybe more, 10, 12, 15. I don't know. And I actually do like some Springsteen songs, but overall, not a fan much at all. Let's see. Paul will never retire. He enjoys playing too much. Exactly. It is amazing. And everything that I said, if you're still hanging around people that were offended, because people they can't handle it. But I think it's great that the guy is still into it. It's amazing to me that this guy's going to be 84 and he's going to be he's touring. He's going to be playing more gigs. He's going to be in Japan. I think it's Japan. I think. Am I right? It's just amazing. It's amazing. Nothing short of amazing, but he's still doing it. And he's coming out with a new album. It's amazing. Yes, I agree. This is one of the worst. Well, in all fairness, Paul doing "Oh Darling" with Chrissie Hynde, that is one of the worst performances he's ever sang. But even the people that were defending him, some of them, not all of them, because you said it was poor. That was poor. They agree with that. But, then you get the people that say, what do you expect? Of course, the man, whatever he was, the man's 80 years old. What do you expect? Of course, he doesn't sound the same. Rather than just say it sucked. That's the only thing I'm saying. I'll give him his props. I give him his props. I said a few times here that I heard songs from last year that he sang good. I was surprised. I heard a version of him doing "Getting Better" from one of the, I don't forget where it was from. It was "Getting Better" live. And it was recorded on a camera phone, and it sounded good. And people out there saying, "Well, you can't judge. The cameras make them sound bad, so it's not fair to judge the camera." Well, here I am saying that the camera phone he sounds good in this. But I heard him doing "Getting Better" and a couple of other songs from last year, and I thought, yeah, he's pulling it off. What can I say? I think "You Know My Name," Look Up the Numbers, a great novelty song. It's a lot of fun. I love that the Beatles did something wacky and different. It's a great B-side. Paul will collapse on stage. Then he won't be saying, "See you next time." I hope that doesn't happen. My girlfriend often says, she thinks he's going to die on stage because he's never stopped. And I say, I hope not. Okay. Well, yeah, thank you. Yeah, I wasn't feeling the best, but you know what? When I start doing, sometimes when you do this, you feel better. Was that the first live performance of "Oh Darling"? I can't recall other versions of "Oh Darling" off the top of my head, but I don't know. And yeah, this was another one of the worst ones when he did Lady Madonna at the COVID. I forget what it was called, the COVID concert on TV. That was pretty poor. And he was abysmal when he did Saturday Night Live, singing "Maybe I'm Amazed." I think that was for the 40th anniversary. He was horrible. And again, the fans say and maybe rightly so. He had been singing. He did a show like less than 24 hours before. I forget what show it was. He did a show in New York before that. That's why his voice was not good. And no, you're getting them mixed up. 75, 85. You see, you're getting them mixed up. I'm talking about the 40th one in 2015. And the 40, well, I know. I'm going to get to that in a minute, too. And the 40th one he did, Maybe I'm Amazed It Was Terrible. And I thought he was also pretty poor recently for the 50th one when he did Golden Slumbers, Carry That Weight. I thought it was weak. But I'm telling you, a lot of people feel that they sweetened it when they put it up on screen. Like when it was live, it was pretty rough. But then only shortly after, when they put it on TV, on YouTube, where it exists now, if you can find it, it was sweetened a little bit. The rough edges were smoothed off. So anyway, like I said, the best thing I could say in closing, and I'll close with this, is that I accept Paul at his age, how he sounds, but I don't say that he sounds fine. Not all the time. Sometimes, like some of the shows I saw, some of the songs I saw sampled from last year, he did sound decent for his age. I'm all over the map with this. It's a perplexing thing, but it is what it is, and it ain't what it ain't. Okay, yeah. Especially if you saw it live, and not on sweetened replay. Okay, thank you, everybody. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. I'm going to ask you before I leave, though, if everybody's still hanging out here, please subscribe, if you haven't, to my other channels, because I do a Mayo trilogy here, and there's like all kinds of things, like this one, for example, Mr. Cinemayo. Mr. Cinemayo is about movies, TV, nostalgia, pop culture. If you don't care about movies, TV, nostalgia, or pop culture, I guess it's not for you to subscribe. But if you do like, there's another channel here, Mayo Loves Mondays. You like my rant videos when I go off on a tear about things that piss me off? The new rant videos, and some of the older ones are being transported. Rant videos now are done there. So if you like rant videos, please subscribe there. And it's also about life management, retirement, trying to eat better, trying to take care of yourself, aging, time, how time goes past us all. Time moves too quickly. Those are my three channels, the Mayo trifecta, the Mayo trilogy, and I really need your help over there. Really need to get up to 1,000 subs over there if you can. So tell a friend and just have them subscribe, just for the hell of it, to help me out. Okay, everybody. Thank you very much again, and I will talk to you very, very soon.